Hi, my name is Mary Jane Schroeder, and I am from upstate New York in the mountains. I spend about 7 months here, and I spend 5 months in New York in the mountains. I like splitting it because, of course, I've been up there most of my life. So I have lifetime friends up there. My son is up there. My grandchildren are up there. My daughter-in-law. So I have a lot of friends and family in that area. I go up, I've got the best of both worlds. I mean, I go up there in the spring, so I'm there for spring, summer, and fall. I'm heavily involved in my community. I have a community that's very, very active up there. And then I come down here when the snow starts flying, about mid-October. I get here in time for the end of rainy season, which is actually nice because everything is green and lush and gorgeous. And then it goes into dry season and it becomes just sunny and beautiful like this pretty much every day. What I did when I decided I was going to do this was I sold my house with 5 acres of land, and I kept 25 acres, and I just built a camp. So it's very seasonal, but it's beautiful. It's on 25 acres of wooded land. And it's, I built a full-size kitchen outside. I built a big pole barn. I put a full-size kitchen in it because I love to cook and entertain. I'm certainly not going to cook out of a tiny little fifth wheel kitchen. So the fifth wheel I really treat as my master bedroom. And I had a pole barn put over that. Then I built the big pole barn, and everything else is pretty much out there. There's a big hot tub, a full-size living room area with TV and Fios and the whole bit. So I mean, I just feel like I live in the best of both worlds because I leave this beautiful and I go up there, and I basically get the same thing in the summer up there as I get in the winter down here. So I kind of said Panama always makes it like as the top 1 or 2 for Central America. And then I started looking up tour groups, and I found Panama Relocation Tours, Jackie's group. So I signed up for the tour, and I managed to get that in just before COVID, the year before COVID. And that was my first year. My first season here was from 2019 to 2020. So of course, I had to stay in paradise a couple extra months, but that was okay. I do not have a permanent visa yet. I really haven't made up my mind whether to get one or not. The real complication with not having a visa, besides not getting a lot of the discounts, but is the driving, because while Panama allows me to come in 6 months at a clip, they only allow me to drive the first 90 days. So, but I love to travel. So that's always been part of my retirement plan. So I just leave in January or after 3 months, and I go visit another country or do something different. I was actually in Poland this year. So I'm not a real expert on this. I usually go for a week or 2 because I want to travel. I understand some people just go to like Costa Rica for a few days. So I don't know. I mean, the real thing is to make sure that you get stamped when you come back in, because I have heard that sometimes they don't give you a stamp. So you just really have to be aware of that. So that I've explored some other places, but Boquete is really where I want to be. I don't like heat. I love the ocean. I love the Caribbean. I don't like heat. So I take a vacation from my vacation and I'll go down and stay at Las Lajas, or, next year I'd like to go to Bocas del Toro for a while. I haven't been over there yet. But I like it cooler, and Boquete tends to stay in the 70s, which is like perfect. I've actually rented several places. Where I live now is kind of my happy place. This is the second time I've lived here. I reconnected with the owners, and they hadn't re-rented after I left last year, so I was able to rent it again. But I spent about a month and a half in Delega. Way too hot for me. Way too hot for me. Very nice casita, just not my weather. I rented in a beautiful, beautiful apartment up on the Jaramillo Mountains from friends of mine. And I've rented at Boquete forever for a short period of time. But again, there were so many houses close by. I like the peace and the quiet and the birds and the noise. I always rent for an entire year because, one, your prices are less when you do an annual contract. but also because I have an agreement with the owners that I can sublet for the 5 months that I'm gone. Now, all owners are not going to go for that. A lot won't. But my landlords, because it's kind of a condition of me renting for the full year, is the ability to be able to rent it out when I'm gone. So far, I mean, this will be my third season, but the last 2 years I had subletters. I mean, originally what happened when I lived here the last time is there was a dispute between the landowner and the property manager. It wasn't kind of getting resolved, and I didn't know whether I was going to have a place to live or not. So I had to find another place to live, which I did, and I have lived there since last April, I think. I had lived in a couple different places, but then the owners contacted me this year, and they were willing to re-rent it to me, and so I'm back because it's way up on the mountain, and it's 5 acres, and there's fruit trees and a fireplace. I just love it. You don't always get a complete picture of what you're renting. As a matter of fact, there's a woman that is very interested in renting my cabin for the 5 months this year, and she contacted me from the United States, and basically I asked her to fly in and make sure. And I'm hoping that she loves it and she'll stay there. She seems like a very nice woman. I'm picking her up Wednesday morning, and if she wants it, we'll sign a lease for the 5 months, and if she doesn't, she'll have a few days to look around for something else. She's not coming till the end of May. So, but I don't recommend trying to rent from the States. It's so much less expensive to get a round-trip ticket, come down and find a place, than it is to show up and hate the place that you have to move into, and you're going to end up giving up your security. You're going to end up losing time. It's a lot of effort. Just or do a B&B, or something like that for a couple of weeks to a month. That way you can go in there, stay there, and then look around, whether with a real estate agent or otherwise, but you can actually see what you're going to get. You want to check things like hot water. This is Panama, and there are places that rent, I think it was suicide showers, where they just run electric wires up into the shower head to make the water hot or something. I'm not sure how it works. So really check things when you're renting a place. Check the hot water. Do you like the lighting? Is it in a place you like? And be ready to settle until the end of the lease you sign, because you will not get your security back if you break a contract down here. I mean, it's as simple as that. For me, it's pretty much been word of mouth. This place originally was through the property manager. I saw it advertised. When I came here with Panama Relocation Tours in 2019, while I was here, I rented my first rental to return back in November, and that was the beautiful apartment up on the Jaramillo Mountains. So even then, I was here, I was able to see it, and it was like, okay, and I rented it. Make a list. Make a personal list of yours. What do you really, really need? For me, I needed hot water. Some people may not care about that. But make a must-have list, and then make a want list, because there's a big difference between what you need to live comfortably and what you want. And you can always fill in the wants, even if if you find a place that meets all your needs but doesn't have a couple of your wants, you may be able to fill those in after the fact. So making a list is a really good way, because then if you're talking to a real estate agent about a rental, you can also show them, so that they don't take you to look at a bunch of places that don't meet your actual needs. There's so many things to do in Boquete that it's really hard to choose sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of volunteerism. Animales, which is a spay-neuter clinic that I believe runs maybe once a month. They're always looking for volunteers, even if it's just to pet the animals back awake, to make sure that they're safe and they come out of the anesthesia. You've got Dog Camp, who Magali and Javier rescue dogs all the time, and they're always looking for people to adopt and to foster and to help with the dogs. Sometimes they have 40 or more dogs at a time that they take care of. There's also there's Hungala, which does rescues and releases and rehabilitation for animals. They also do education about the animals. So there's tons of volunteerism if you like that. There are walking groups, basic walking groups and real hiking groups. A lot of people down here love games. I've always loved games. So you can always find people that want to get together for Mexican Train or spades or pinochle, whatever. So there's that. I just started taking Tai Chi. I found Tai Chi, so I've started taking Tai Chi last week. There's just, I'm meeting a friend at 12:30 for lunch today when this is done. So there's lots and lots to do. And being a single woman moving down here on my own, I had absolutely no problem meeting people. And I've actually made some really good friends and some really good acquaintances. I like them all the way from the Sabresons up to Restaurant Row. I mean, you can pretty much eat for a full meal for under $5 here, or you can find a restaurant where you can spend $30 to $50 to eat a whole meal. So there's lots of really good options and restaurants here. And I go out. I enjoy going out for lunch and dinner as much as I love to cook, which I do. I also like being cooked for. You know, there are happy hours and live music quite a bit in Boquete now. Now that COVID is kind of lifted, they're getting back together for happy hours. They have newcomers meetings where they'll meet at a particular restaurant or bar and maybe have dinner or drinks. So you can meet a lot of people by doing that also, and especially with the live music, that's always fun. There's gyms. What is there, 2, 3 gyms in the area, maybe more. So if you like to work out in gyms, all those options are available to you too. So, you know, the list kind of goes on. There's tons and tons of things to do all the time. All you have to do is look for them. Sí, poco hablo español. I speak a little Spanish so far, but I'm getting better. I have a teacher down here. She's fabulous. And we work together a couple times a week, a couple hours a week. I take Spanish. I can have real conversations in my head with me. It's not always so easy for me to understand the Panamanians when they speak. I find myself saying, you know, más despacio a lot, much slower, please. But I'm learning it, and it's getting better and better, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, at my age, to all of a sudden decide to learn a new language is kind of like, huh? So, but it's fun. You know, and it could be that I've just, you know, grown into it, but I really don't have a problem finding pretty much anything I want. You know, if I need something pretty obscure, I may have to go to David to get it. But in general, I haven't even renewed my Price Smart. I mean, I tend to shop locally. I can get fresh vegetables, fresh fruits locally. So yeah, for the most part, I shop locally, and last year during COVID, 2 years ago during COVID, I couldn't get flavorings. As silly as that sounds, but you know, like vanilla extract, all I could find anywhere was imitation vanilla. So when I went on my trip to the States that year, I bought vanilla extract, banana extract, strawberry, all the extracts so that I wouldn't have to worry about it. But in general, I can get pretty much anything I want here. And if I can't buy it locally, I can order it from Amazon. I guess I read, I'm on a bunch of travel groups because I love to travel. And a lot of times I hear like single women, or they're widows, or they're divorced, and they're very timid about, you know, moving or doing something different. And I guess I just want to say, you know, it's really doable in Panama. There's a lot of expats here. So even if you don't speak the language, you can get by just fine. Most everybody knows how to use Google Translate. So, I use that too. But I just think, as a single woman having done it successfully, and my family and friends got kind of wide eyes, but they were like, okay, you onward and upward, here she goes. So, come for a visit and check it out. I don't think you would find it difficult to move here as a single woman. The woman that's coming, that I mentioned, that's coming to look at my cabin that I'm picking up on Wednesday from the airport, is a single woman, and she's also moving to Panama. So there's a lot of single people here, and it's okay. I've never really felt unsafe in Panama. I don't think I've ever felt unsafe. Yeah, can't think of one instance. I feel very comfortable in my skin here. Much like I feel very comfortable in my skin in the mountains of upstate New York with my friends and family. I love the area. I love the people. I love the birds. They come they come right through. So yeah, no, I feel safe. Yeah, 24/7 pretty much.